everybody. Welcome to our first episode of our new Let's Play series, the INNSMOUTH case. I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into with this game, but I'm glad I did. This is a lot like the Choose Your Own Adventure books that I grew up reading, in so much that every choice that you make within the game causes some sort of reaction within game and puts you on a path towards your ending. In this first episode, we're just playing around with the story, trying to figure out the ins and outs. We play a private detective in Boston who has taken a missing child case in INNSMOUTH, north of Arkham, Massachusetts. Let's get into it, shall we? Here we go. There we go. Welcome everybody to our Let's Play the INNSMOUTH case series. We're going to start a new game. Your progress in the story will be saved at the end of each chapter. There are 35 chapters in total. At the end of the chapter, the screen fades to black and a green save icon appears at the bottom right screen. It's down here behind my camera. It looks like a bookmark. It's really cool. We recommend you always end the game after such a point to make sure none of your progress is lost. If you play a chapter a second time, press escape to skip text and go to the next decision. Boston, 25th September. The last rays of sunshine filter through the blinds of your empty office. The pathetic stench of whiskey, cold cigarette smoke, and canned ravioli fills the air. The screeching tires and constant beeping of car horns on the other side of the street tell you that it's dawn 8 p.m. People are on their way home, finishing the day. You should join them. If you decide to stay at your desk or go home, well, we're kind of a workaholic here, so we're going to stay at our desk. Your day was long and frustrating. You're running out of ideas on how to handle the calls of people who want money from you. A cold shiver runs down your spine as you flick through the piles of unpaid bills. On the top of the pile is a reminder from your landlady. You're 2 months behind on rent. Uh-oh. The next one is a 3-figure invoice from a games company for in-app purchases. You tried to claim them as business expenses in your last investigation, but somehow your client refused to pay. Then there's that second reminder from your internet provider threatening to cut off your connection. You might take legal action because without the internet, you can't work or live. You're a shut-in. You really need more in-app purchases, your lawyer, a cigarette, or a little fresh air. Well, I know what I would have in this situation. However, we're going to go with a little fresh air. You jerk open the blinds amongst the dust. Light rays of light shine into your eyes like a laser sight in a spy flick. It takes a few seconds for your eyes to adjust. Your gaze settles on the Horns and Hooves pub across the street. How many simple jobs this dive has given you? Kill us wives whose husbands you had to spy on. All you had to do was lie and wait at the window and take pictures of them coming out of the dirtiest hole in town. You close the window before you see anyone you know. You breathe a deep sigh. It may not have been a successful day, but at least it's over. You're looking forward to a classic Friday night, watching old mystery series at home in sweatpants and getting drunk on cheap booze. Since the early afternoon, you've been staring at the foreboding bottle of liquor at the other end of the room. Up until now, a vague sense of professionalism has kept you from drinking yourself into oblivion. Now, nothing stands in the way. Suddenly, you hear someone at the door. Who is it? The door slowly cracks open in a timid creak. The unknown guest pauses. Then in a breathy, melodic tone, you hear a woman utter, "Hello?" Your insides cramp. You definitely realize you haven't cleaned your office at all this year. Sounds familiar. You quickly try to clean up. Wait a minute. Wait. You shout in a pitch that is at least 2 octaves higher than intended. There's no time to pick up all the crumpled pieces of paper on the floor. You gaze across the total mess of your desk. A weird, undefined crust is formed on the wood. You never noticed that before. You try to hide it by putting some unpaid bills over them. They get stuck immediately. Nice. By the light of the desk lamp, you see more than a silhouette. A breathtaking woman lights up your office. No doubt older than 40, maybe even 50, hard to say. Clad in black, a skin-tight dress culminating in a décolleté that seems to defy the laws of gravity. A smoky eyeshadow, as dark as algae washed ashore. Blonde, coiffed, wavy hair under a dark beret. The faint light of the setting sun catches in the strands of her hair, and you wonder how many heads this woman must have turned in her prime. She's completely different from your usual customers. Nervous bankers with sweat stains under their armpits, convinced their wives of something going on with the mailman. Every move she makes is a calculated grace. Smooth as an eel, she walks towards you and sits down on the corner of your desk. Determined, she walks towards you and sits on, which is a little bold, without asking you first, but as a professional, you're not giving anything away. She seems to want to play the seductive damsel in distress. The quiet, amused voice of your subconscious is pleased that this stranger may be sharing your enthusiasm for film noir cliches. A far louder voice is surprised that this woman seems to think that a sexy pose and revealing clothes could win you over. Both voices agree that they don't like being manipulated. You don't think that the stranger perched on your table is trying to recover from a hard working day as a lingerie model, and therefore you see no logical reason for her behavior. When she begins to speak, your voice is smoky and full of promise. My name is Dahlia Marsh. Looking for a private investigator? I was told you are one of the best. She extends her hand. You've come to the right place, lady. What can I do for you? You sit back in your chair and you fold your hands over your stomach. The woman seems a little irritated that her provocative behavior seems to have had no effect on you. She moves from the edge of the desk and sits down on the chair opposite you. Yes, she clears her throat. As she continues to speak, the smoky seductiveness creeps back into her voice. My name is Dahlia, and I need your help. It's about my daughter Tabitha. She has disappeared. Thank you, Goblin. You're pulling out paper and pencil. This is going to be a walk in the park, a walk in the kidnapped kids park. When did you last see and where? The woman puts on a fake smile. We live in INNSMOUTH. It's a small port town north of Arkham. You frown. That's a bit vague. What was your child doing when you last saw her? What hobbies does she have? Oh, you know, kid stuff. They just run around with and play with their yo-yos, that sort of thing. Dahlia nervously combs her hand through her hair. Hold on. Yo-yos, ring ring. Can you hear that? It's a 90s calling and they want their outdated toys back. Dahlia blushes. Normally you'd find this quite attractive, but the case of a missing girl beckons and you're utterly unconvinced that, by the way, this woman pretends to be a mother. We'll let the matter rest for now. Lady probably won't win Mother of the Year award, but that's not your problem. At least she seems to have the money. Profit from it. You should probably go easy on her. Does your daughter have any friends she might be staying with? Classmates, sports club members, anything like that? Dahlia silently shakes her head. Very strange. You're about to ask if the girl at least had imaginary friends, but you hold back. What does your daughter look like? She's only 8 and the sweetest girl you can imagine. She's been missing without a trace since last week. None of her schoolmates have seen her, and no one knows where she might have gone. She hands you a photo. Look, this is my little munchkin. Poor kid. Good heavens. Is this supposed to be a joke? Is this really the face of a child or a shoddy photo in it? Are you being filmed as part of a reality TV show? A bit of stomach acid and the last bite of lunch slowly make their way up into your back of your mouth. It wasn't that ugly. Do we throw up in the drawer or swallow it? We're gonna swallow it because that's with narrow eyes, you swallow the bile and involuntarily pull a face. Dahlia continues to look at you hopefully. She obviously didn't know your little mishap. That was close. Could have been unpleasant. I'm so desperate. Her eyes lock with yours. Don't you think there's something strange about your child? Taking your life into your hands. Don't you think there's something a bit strange about your daughter? It's called puberty, Dahlia snarls. You should try it sometime. Also, this has nothing to do with the case. She looks at you contemptuously. False silent, the woman's face has turned red with rage. Have you been too honest this time? Was your family right all along when they told you that honesty is not always the best policy? Are you going to take the case or not? Unfortunately, you need the money and she does seem to have it. What about Tabitha's father? Are you separated? Often children reappear with family members. I smile sadly. My little one can't swim well enough for that yet. Your pen remains on the same notepad. What was that supposed to mean? Dahlia is about to continue. We're gonna let her talk. Dahlia turns her gaze away from you and looks dreamily, no, longingly out the window. Her father was a fisherman, like most in the village. A few years ago he went out to sea, but never returned. His boat was washed ashore weeks later. His colleagues told me he had finally followed the call of the waves. You keep quiet for a moment. Deceased family members are always a sensitive subject. My sincere condolences. She seems calm. Oh, somehow I always knew that moment would come. I think my husband is in a better place now. At some point, I'll join him. You take a closer look at Dahlia's outfit. Judging by her behavior and clothes, you never would have taken her to be a fisherman's wife. See if there's okay, we don't have any more questions. I have no further questions, you mumble. More to yourself than to her. Dahlia stretches her neck imperceptibly. No doubt she would like to take a look at your notebook. Your pen hovers over the notes you've taken. Missing daughter. Dodgy lady. That's it. You've worked with less. Are you going to take the case or not? You nod. Missing persons case, nothing unusual. The conventional little girl runs away from home after reading her first romance novel. Usually they hide at the edge of the forest or in a library. It'd be pretty straightforward. Before you can say anything, she drops a photo of the child and a roll of bills at your desk. For your expenses. You nod slowly, trying not to drool down the front of your shirt. You haven't seen this much money in ages. You didn't have much time to prepare. A quick search reveals that only one bus goes to INNSMOUTH, and only once a day. A pattern emerges in your research. The few news items related to this little coastal town are all about missing persons. In addition, you find some rather old-fashioned articles that praise the coastal town as a secret holiday destination. The best fish, untouched beach promenade, authentic fishing people are reoccurring buzzwords. Dahlia has given you the address at which you're supposed to drop off her daughter as soon as you find her. She wrote down her phone number on the child's photo. You take another look at the picture before you pack your things. Okay. We're gonna go by bus because that's probably the fastest way to get there. Boston, September 22nd. Your journey begins at the busy bus station. There's supposed to be a bus line that departs from here to Innsmouth. Buses, you think to yourself, are not only an environmentally friendly means of transportation, but they're also easy on your wallet. Sadly, the departure boards aren't of much help. New York, Maine, Rhode Island, no trace of Innsmouth as a destination. You wander around for a little while until you notice a cleaner eating a sandwich on the side of one of the vending machines. You look around. We're gonna talk to the cleaner. Excuse me. Where can I find the bus to Without letting go of his sandwich, the cleaner points to an abandoned counter in the dingiest corner of the public bus station could be capable of. The man gives you a nod, indicating that anything that might be said has indeed been said. You find that the counter is elaborately decorated with cobwebs. It's a bit early for Halloween preparations, but at least someone's making an effort. At that moment, nobody seems to be there. You press your face against the plastic window to appear into the room behind. Hello? Hello, is anyone there? I have to get to Innsmouth. No one there. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a bus ticket appears on the counter. Might the trip be free? Should you leave a payment? We're going to leave a donation just because it's the right thing to do. You're a staunch defender of the law. It goes without saying that you pay. You put a few coins in the bowl underneath the foggy glass window. Hopefully they won't be stolen by the next passenger. Even if someone were sitting behind the counter, you wouldn't be able to see them. It's just too dark. You're distracted for a few seconds and suddenly there's some change on the counter. What's that in amongst the coin? A small golden fishhook? How strange. Where is this bus hiding? In between the polished greyhounds and travelers stowing their luggage, saying goodbye, and dropping tiredly into their seats, there's kind of a dumpster. A dumpster with windows and wheels? No. It's actually a bus. It's a bit on the rusty side, and even from a distance, you can sense the strange smell it emits. Is that sulfur? You're not convinced how this thing is supposed to drive. In its vicinity, everything is noticeably quieter than at the other bus stops. The people getting on show no signs of emotion. Nobody's trying to jump the queue here. Instead, the passengers move past the bus driver at a uniform speed, one after another, shuffling up the creaking steps. Each two-seater bench is occupied by individuals as if they want to make sure not to come into contact with their fellow passengers. The sign clearly says Innsmouth. No departure times, no stopovers, just Innsmouth. On the bus. Undecided, you're standing in the stairs of the bus. Talk to the driver, show your ticket, sneak past in silence. Let's talk to the driver. You stop, the passengers behind you wait patiently. It's impossible to make eye contact with the driver. He stares rigidly at his steering wheel. After all, he seems to be a focus driver. Excuse me, sir. No reaction. You look over your shoulder, still at the people in line behind you. Remain calm. Undecided, you stand on the steps. Let's show you a ticket. Yeah, the driver, you a ticket. No reaction. At least you can't make out a reaction. The light in his pore and the shadows of his dusty bus driver's cap covers almost his entire face. You notice something strange in his neck, but you can't quite make it out what it might be. You're standing in the door waiting for an okay, a nod, anything. The sulfur odor has increased. The queue is formed behind you. No one is pushing or complaining, though. People wait quietly and patiently. You shuffle sideways through the center aisle. You don't remember the bus looking this long from the outside. You're surrounded by shabby two-seater benches, and some are already occupied, one traveler per row. The last bench is free. Looks like the upholstery's torn in some places, though. Or has it been slit open? You can see springs with sharp wire edges as some sticky liquid seems to have leaked onto the floor. Why don't you just sit in one of the free rows? Here in the back, almost everything is occupied. Most of the passengers seem to have purposely sat in the aisle seats, blocking off the window seats. Maybe this is an opportunity to get a little closer to the common Innsmouth visitor. Gaze across the row of seats. We're going to go to the rear bench just because I think that there's a hidden adventure in there. You've always been the cool outsider. At least that's what you like to tell yourself. So you take the back row, which you have all to yourself. The ride won't take that long, will it? You wish you had paid a little more attention to the map. Well, so if it rises to your nose again. You try to sit down carefully without tearing your clothes on the wire springs of the seat cushion. Suddenly a jolt, you can't balance, and you're pressed into your seat by the most mysterious of all invisible forces, gravity. The bus starts without any warning. Because of the abrupt start, a bunch of yellow paper has rolled across the dirty floor right in front of your feet. You pick it up and look at that, a newspaper. INNSMOUTH is illustrated from April last year. Let's read the newspaper. According to a faded sticker, the subscriber of the newspaper is a certain C.G. Young. The INNSMOUTH Illustrated actually offers a lot of entertaining articles. All these features and listicles give the impression that at the end of this trip, you'll find yourself in an adorable, up-and-coming tourist metropolis. A real insider tip. Well, we're going to put away the newspaper. The moment you load the paper, you're in for a shock. Multiple glassy pairs of eyes are pointed at you, staring right at you with eyes wide open. Are they lurking? Observing? No sign of their previous passive sleepiness. And then suddenly, as if nothing has happened, they all turn again and turn around again, simultaneously. What the fuck? Your heart is pounding. We're going to try to stay calm. Comfy. Wonderful heaven. You can lean back and spread your arms over the other headrest while the bus with its stuttering engine leaves town. That worked out quite well, especially if you ignore the little hiccups before. Satisfied with yourself, you're surveying the ranks of the other passengers. Whoa, dandruff shampoo must be worth a pure gold in INNSMOUTH. An army of balding heads stretch up before you. The sight makes you feel slightly queasy to your stomach. Maybe there's something in the water? Your mind starts to roam restlessly. To Dahlia, to the money you'll soon be storing under your pillow, and of course to this free vacation to a coastal town. In your mind, you've already come up with a list of fish dishes you want to try. The bus has turned onto an empty country road now, and you see uncultivated fields rumble past you. The warm, stuffy air in the bus makes you sleepy. Just before you close your eyes, you could swear that several passengers are turning their heads surreptitiously towards you. What the? The bus leaves the country road and turns off at a wooden sign that says INNSMOUTH in red flaky letters. The journey continues rather bumpily along a narrow dirt road, littered with numerous potholes. In the distance, some houses are already visible, seagulls circling the roofs of the outermost edges of the city. Slowly, all passengers take their bags off from under their seats and get ready. Curious, you look through the side window. That's odd. The bus passes by a huge, what is this, a scrapyard? Parking lot? Would something like this be right outside this city? You pass another wooden sign whose half-peeled writing advertises the INNSMOUTH Park and Ride area. A lot of cars look like they've been sitting here for years. Sand covers some of the bonnets and windscreens. This was obviously not written by an American. The front door of the bus opens with a squeak, and you join the monotonous line of locals stepping out of the bus as if in a daze. Almost walking in step, you all get close to the exit. As you walk down the steps, you have to protect your eyes from the sunlight. Turns out the window of the bus were tinted. The other passengers shuffle off. Finally, Innsmouth. You examine your surroundings while you stretch your legs, trying to unwind from the stressful journey. No artist could have adequately captured the serenity and beauty of this place. A clear blue sky lights up the town square, which is paved with bright limestone and surrounded by neo-colonial buildings, reminiscent of 19th century New England. A fresh sea breeze, crying seagulls, and locals going about their business. At the center of the square, water trickles from a fountain. As you stretch your limbs and breathe in the air, you're suddenly startled by the water feature right in front of you. The fountain is an enormous fish-like brass creature. An open jaw lined with shark-like fangs sprout brackish water down its massive, inhumanly contorted body. If that wasn't enough, there appear to be human bodies squirming beneath its massive claws. Their faces are contorted as yours right now. How long have you been standing here? Eyes wide open in shock, you feel utterly paralyzed. You start to scan the town square and notice more and more disturbing details. On every corner, you spot ornamental statues and reliefs of fish. But these are not your classic harmless kind of fish. These are pagan symbols and grimaces of supernatural creatures from the darkest crevices of the deep sea. In surrounding houses, you can see faces pressed against the windows. All the locals appear to be watching you. You suddenly start to think that the cries of the seagulls sound particularly human-like. They sound like humans crying out in pain. What happened to the idyllic scene from a few moments ago? Welcome to INNSMOUTH. Welcome to INNSMOUTH. How nice of you to visit. A small elderly woman waves at you from afar. She beams at you as if you were her long-lost grandchild. She seems very different to the boards you've met so far on the bus into town. Her squealing shakes you out of your nightmarish panic. It's so good to have you here. I've noticed you're taken by a local fountain. It was built in 1704 by Abdul Necrotis, favorite artist and friend of Charles Dexter Tillinghast, the founder of INNSMOUTH. The central figure was a present, and it was supposed to commemorate their travels together to Cairo. You can clearly see the Egyptian influences in Necrotis' work here and here. Points wildly in every direction. And there. But I'm sure you've already noticed this yourself. You look like someone who knows his way around art, says with a wide smile. You're still in shock. Who the hell are you, lady? Oh, I've not introduced myself. I'm ever so sorry. In front of you now stands a small, plump person in a tasteless costume. Your rudeness doesn't seem to curb her enthusiasm in the slightest. My name is Muriel Pooping Place. I'm the director of Parks Commission, chief tourism officer, and head of the welcoming committee. Behind Muriel is a ramshackle wooden information stand, lovingly decorated with balloons. A colorful painted sign reads, "Welcome to INNSMOUTH." Muriel tiptoes over to her information stand and picks up a whole load of flyers and leaflets from the rackety display case. She looks down at all the paper in her arm and briefly shrieks with laughter. My goodness, why don't you take the city map with you? Useful. You take a map and put it in your coat pocket. Would you like to find out more about our wonderful town, which has been awarded the East Coast Stunning Town Award for several years now? Sure, why not? Muriel claps her hands excitedly and squeals. She begins unfolding one of her maps and points to 3 different locations in the town. The town center here should be the next stop on your trip. There's a lovely up-and-coming shopping street in INNSMOUTH, and since May, our local fountain has had real running water. Muriel starts waving an index finger at you. I know what you're thinking. This town has been too showy for its own good. But I can assure you, we've all kept our feet on the ground, even after the whole thing with the East Coast Stunning Town Awards. The figure now points to a different area of the map. Hi, Shad. The old town of INNSMOUTH is completely preserved. You'd think nothing was ever done to the facades of the old houses. Within 4 miles of here, you won't find any new buildings. Your face was unwillingly slipped into expressionless mask due to the sheer boredom of it all. And then, points at the coastline on the map, amazing beach promenade. A dreamy beach with a bar that serves all the drinks your heart desires. I hope you brought enough stretch with you because at the beach, pure relaxation awaits you, Sonny. What's going on, Shad? The small woman chortles. Thanks ever so much, ma'am. Muriel seems slighted. Nothing deserves gives me more pleasure than ensuring visitors to our town. A great time in our pretty little town. Will you please stay for a night? I can only recommend staying as long as you can. There's so much to see. Trust me, by the end of your stay, you won't want to leave. You're very welcome. How long are you gonna stay? Still suck. Yeah. I'm only up for a short visit. Oh, what a shame. Muriel's enthusiasm quickly faded from her eyes as she drops her hands, which are still holding the colorful flask. I hope you find what you're looking for. Have a great time. Her eyes move past you and settle on a tourist family right behind you. Even like the flick of a switch, she's back to her gleeful demeanor, bouncing over to the family and waving her brochures. My new glasses and my new headphones. You head further into town along the cobbled road in the direction of the coast. Not long ago, the sun was bright in the sky, but already the first wafts of mist are creeping into the street. The air feels thicker and the sun can no longer penetrate the fog. Time to think about where you want to go. You slow down, you lean your briefcase against a wall and start pacing up and down the quiet alleyway. You've got an important choice to make right now. The city center is in the north. Even from afar, you can see the outlines of the old and ornately decorated buildings to the main town square. Here, you should find the police station, the main shopping street, and of course, the town hall. As a coastal town, INNSMOUTH also has a harbor. From your research, you found out that this is a bustling area with a dreamy beach. You expect there to be mostly tourists. According to your research, the only hotel in town, the Gilman Hotel, is located in the old town. You think about checking in. You could do with freshening up and getting rid of that bus smell that is still clinging to your clothes. Just as you're about to set off, your heart leaps into your throat. You've forgotten your briefcase. This has never happened to you. You usually take good care of the little you possess. There's nothing you can do about it now. You have to wait until your return journey to find out whether someone has handed it in to lost and found. Still, you could swear that the briefcase was already gone when you got off the bus. Weird. So, the city center, the harbor, or the guild. I want to head to the hotel. Just because. You recognize this roof from afar, and after a long walk is now before you in full splendor. The Gilman Hotel. At least it's easy to see that it once must have been a gorgeous building. The hotel resembles an old English country estate, but in its present state, it would be suited as the setting for a very predictable film about teenagers and chainsaw killers. Wild and withered ivy, it has a firm grip on the walls and obscures the details of the richly decorated facade. A gallery of gargoyles melted into unreal shapes by acid rain and acidic pigeon droppings lines the roof. The many windowy panes have been neglected for years. Only in a few places has a small area been wiped clean in order to see outside. There are two cars in the parking lot, a vintage car with large rust spots and a large gray van. The kind of van you've always been warned about as a child. We're going to take a look at the vehicles. You look around again just to make sure that the people who own the cars aren't hiding somewhere with their shotgun at the ready. Smart. The coast is clear. First, you walk to the antique car. Well, you're not a car expert, but the car looks antique to you anyway. Both seats inside are made of white leather. A little bit tacky. Probably, Shad. You turn away from the antique car and look towards the van. No writing on the sides, a regular registration plate, and the windows in the front blacked out. Hang on, you have a brainwave. Maybe this is the van. Switchboard tap that had been pulled when she was kidnapped, which was lured to her awful fate by sweets and lollipops. That's conjecture. That's possible. Of course, it all makes sense. In all likelihood, you've just managed to find the actual kidnapper, the seed of all this evil and wrong in this case. All you had to do was book a hotel room and stare at the cars. You're a natural. All you need is some proof. Let's go try to get. What's the plan, Stan? We're gonna try to get into the boot. Of course, whatever it is that you're looking for must be in the back of the van. Excitedly, you walk around. Sadly, the door's not open. That would have been truly lucky. Full of optimism, you try the handle to see if the door has been left unlocked. There's noticeable resistance when you turn the handle. Damn. You won't get in without a car key. You walk back to stand in front of the bonnet of the van. We could smash the window or leave the parking lot. I don't feel like destroying property right now, so we're just going to leave the parking lot. You've stayed in this parking lot long enough. You don't want anyone else to call the police on you. Maybe you should just go and book your room. You really hope this side of the hotel has been looked after a little bit better than the outside, but you're quickly disabused of that notion. The massive wooden door is difficult to open. Shouldn't the staff be doing this anyway? With a loud creaking sound from the hinges and an exhausted puffing and panting on your part, you manage to open the door and enter the lobby of the Gilman Hotel. I wonder if guests are even welcome in this place. What do you mean good movie for now? The room is sparsely lit. There are impressive chandeliers hanging from the ceiling, which, if working, would perhaps not quite give the grand hall back its original splendor, but at least convey more warmth. Your first steps tell you that there are rotten floorboards hiding under the thick carpet. The green wall paneling and wallpaper also appear rotten and musty. Oh, yes. Okay. Sort of wet. No way I'm going to check this moldy dump. No, we need a place to stay, though. Before you let yourself be disgraced or distracted by the questionable interior design and associated health issues, you walk purposefully towards the reception desk. A small greenish creature stands at the counter with a loudly humming ceiling lamp above. At the INNSMOUTH Town's only hotel's called the Gilman. Yeah. The loudly humming ceiling lamp above harshly illuminates his silhouette and gives his face hard edges. You can make out every individual speck of dust and dandruff on his dark green velvet collar and crooked shoulders. Maybe they should be dimming the lights after all. The figure smiles at you, or perhaps is more of a grin. His face unsettles you. You lean forward at an angle to get a better look at him. The corners of his mouth reach all the way up to his dried up ears. His smile looks like it's painted on. His beady eyes lie deep in the cavity of his skull, and it Seems to stare into opposite direction. Has he even blinked yet? Everybody smells funny. May I help you? You startled and take a step back. Welcome to the Gilman Hotel. My name is Cornelius Gilman III. May I please be of service to you? The man's gaze remains unchanged. His unnatural smile still seems to be etched into his face. You're still surprised he can talk with that expression on his face. Just a moment ago, you could have sworn he was an inanimate puppet. Just like now when he's not speaking. Like I always say, I'm an asshole, but I'm not a prick. So we're not going to ask him what's wrong with his face or tell him how beautiful his eyes are. We're just going to ask about booking a room. I would like to book a room, he began to manage to blurt out, in a different hotel. Perfect. The Gilman Hotel is delighted to be able to welcome you as its guest. May I ask whether you're in Innsmouth for business or pleasure? How long will you be staying with us? Would you prefer to view towards the beach or the skyline of our exciting town? When would you like to be woken up? Do you sleep deeply? Are you traveling alone? Do you have family? Do you have both your kidneys? Who knows you're here? Can I interest you in our spa, fitness, and wellness activities? Do you prefer to lock your door at night? Would you like to subscribe to our newsletter? How long can you hold your breath? All right. So we're going to answer the questions. We're here for business. How long will you be staying with us? Not sure. As long as it takes. We're going to go with... We're not flirting with Gilman, damn it, game. We're going to go with a view of the beach. Would you like to be woken up? No, we'll wake up on our own. Do you sleep deeply? Question. Can't be woken up that easily. Are you traveling by yourself? Why are they trying to pressure me into flirting with Gilman? Do you have family? I have this goldfish called Al, who knows you're here. Al knows. Can I interest you in our spot? No, I don't want. Would you like to subscribe to our newsletter? I do not want to subscribe to your site. I will kill anyone who tries to get me to. We're just gonna go no. How long can you hold your breath? Funny story. I've been able to hold my breath in. Are we done now? Can I go to my room? The concierge's expression did not change a tiny bit for the duration of our conversation, let alone did he blink. Hey, Wolfie, because he's gonna take your kidneys, get in your butt while you sleep. Choose your own adventure. Not wrong. Thank you so very much. That was all I needed to know. Now, all you need to is sign here. He tilts the strangely shaped head over to the guest register. Impatiently, you sign with J Doe XXX Noob Slayer 555 XXX and your real name. Sadly, we're all booked up this season. There's only one spare room. Here's your key for room 666. Enjoy your stay. You look at the key, which has magically appeared on the counter. Then your eyes slowly wander past the man to the wall, where countless other keys are hanging. I mean, he probably could, and then, use the stoma as the second orifice. Just saying. What now? Continue your search for tablet, go to your room, book wellness sessions. We're gonna go to our room first. look at a golden panel with the layouts of different rooms and floors. Room 666. There it is. 4th floor, left wing of the building. Everyone has their. I mean, not for me, but you never know. 4th floor, left wing of the building. You walk up to the stairs to the upper floors, but you can still feel the eyes of the concierge on you. And you finally reach your floor. An almost endless corridor spreads out in front of you. Hey, I'm not kink shaming. If you want to do a Philadelphia sidecar, and if you're into that, that's fine. It's just not something I'm into. At the other end, you can see a figure who seems to be as lost as you are. Did the building look much smaller from the outside? You walk down the corridor. When you notice the figures approaching you, your brain is mentally preparing itself for benign hotel small talk. But wait, it's you. You walk a bit further and realize you're standing in front of a mirror. That's why the corridor looked so vast. The mirror marks a fork. According to the room numbers, your room should be further on the left. In the corridor towards the right, you see a small yellow sign on the floor. Maintenance. What do you want to do? Walk around the other wing of the hotel. We're going to head to our room. After 2 more confusing turns and giant mirrors, you reach room 666. Finally, you're going to drop your stuff and take a nap. Good plan. Of course, the door resists being opened. You jerk the key back and forth in the lock until you hear a satisfying click sound. A soothing warmth hits you as you enter the room. Immediately, the synapses in your brain switched into energy saving mode. The trip to INNSMOUTH has probably taken more out of you than you had thought. You don't even notice the rest of the room. Instead of the bed, it makes you yearn for a little shut-eye. We're going to go ahead and rest. Your hand glides over to the tightly pulled bedspread. No dust. It's a good sign, right? You carefully sit down on the edge of the bed, and just to make sure the mattress doesn't explode upon contact. You're delighted that there's no explosion. You take off your coat and shoes and stretch out on the bed. A mild but all-encompassing pain that you hadn't even noticed before melts off your spine. Everything is warm and pleasant. You feel free and weightless. Young people call this a power nap. You close your eyes for 10 minutes, then you'll be ready for the rest of the day. Sounds completely convincing. You close your eyes and snooze away.
Hey everybody, ToddFather6 here signing off. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you want to see more, click the videos that are listed or hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications in order to be notified when I've got more posted. Until then, as always, be good, be kind, be safe. See you next time.